My name is Josh Breslow, and you are taking a live look over the Pacific Palisades in California. This is a look from our Fox 11 LA team as Sky Fox is flying nearby. This is just one of the many images that we do have, and I want to get you to the latest details. Again, all of this coming in from Cal Fire, as at least 11 people have died and thousands of structures have been burned as those wildfires spread across the LA area over just the past several days. A massive flare-up of the Palisades Fire erupted hours ago, forcing a new round of mandatory evacuations. As we mentioned, that is for Brentwood and Encino, California, shutting down some of the major roads. Now, if you're not necessarily from California or the LA area, you have probably heard of the 405 freeway. That does have portions that are closed near Bel Air and Westwood. 5 deaths confirmed from the Palisades Fire, which broke out Tuesday and has burned through more than 21,000 acres in and around the Pacific Palisades. Also important to note that as of right now, at 6 a.m. Pacific time, that curfew has officially been lifted by the LA County Sheriff's Department. Not clear just yet, though, if that will be in effect again later on tonight. We'll keep you updated there as we do get more details coming in from officials. In the meantime, I want to talk more about the weather pattern there, the winds, everything that kind of played a role in these fires here. So let's bring in Todd Hall, senior meteorologist at the National Weather Service over in Los Angeles. Good morning, and thank you so much for being here. I know you are very, very busy, so we definitely appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Good morning, and thank you for having us on.
Of course. Well, first off, I do just want to ask you overall how the forecast is looking for the Los Angeles area and how that could factor into the winds and the fires.
So in general, we're expecting another round of Santa Ana winds developing today through tonight and into Sunday morning. So that's going to bring in potentially another round of critical fire weather conditions across the Los Angeles basin. And that's going to not make it much easier for firefighters to do their job. So we're looking at the potential for very dry conditions and very windy conditions continuing on these fires, which kind of exacerbates what's already in place.
And when I ask you here, you touched on this, but what is needed weather-wise to fuel these fires? Is it just those incredibly gusty winds, or is there maybe more to it?
There's actually 3 components to that. So you need the winds, you need the dry conditions, and then you need the dry vegetation. As far as the downtown Los Angeles area, we've actually received less than a quarter inch of rain since May, and so we have very dry vegetation already in place, and now we're throwing on top of that warmer than normal and dry conditions with gusty winds, potentially between 45 and 65 miles per hour this afternoon through Sunday morning.
And you talked about the dry conditions. Is California, this area specifically, officially in a drought?
Well, the governor of California actually makes that call to declare if California is in a drought or not. We've definitely had a very dry weather pattern in place for the past 8 months. So that is very concerning for our fire partners that we work very closely with across Southern California. And that's why last week, we issued a particular dangerous situation for our red flag warning, because we have very dry fuels in place, very little rain. And then last Tuesday and Wednesday, or earlier this week, Tuesday and Wednesday, we had winds in excess of 60 to 80 miles per hour on top of these fires.
When you look at these fires a little bit further, the question that a lot of people have asked is this wildfire season? And I don't know if you can really speak to this, but is this when you would normally see wildfires kind of breaking out in places like California and surrounding areas? Or is this something, I don't know if you would say, unheard of? Is it different?
I'm a native Californian, so pretty much I always look at fire season can happen any time of the year due to growing up here. But normally our fire seasons typically run from about anywhere between May to October, and sometimes even into December. We've had some rare instances where the fire season has gone into January. So if you go back to 2007 and 2008, that year we actually ran our fire season into January. So what is a little abnormal is having the amount of strong Santa Ana winds that we've had within the past week or so. So this is kind of an abnormal type pattern, but typically Santa Ana winds, they peak between December and January. That's when we typically have our strongest events. But because we normally have rain by January, we typically have a little more moisture in our vegetation to deal with these Santa Ana winds.
And we're taking a look once again from Skyfox in LA. This is our Fox 11 LA team. You can see one angle of a fire burning right there. We also have this image coming in, I believe, from the Associated Press that shows a different angle. What goes through your mind? You mentioned you are a native Californian. What goes through your mind as you're kind of watching this?
It's heartbreaking. I mean, as far as all of us here working at the National Weather Service, we take this pretty serious as far as doing a public service, and this is our community too, and we are all affected by this tragedy that's taking place, and there's a lot of iconic businesses and homes that have been destroyed in these fires. So we take it to heart, and our hearts go out to all the residents that have lost loved ones, lost their homes and businesses with this. In addition to our thoughts are all with those that are fighting those fires, are the emergency services community that's actually responding to these fires.
How does all of this, and this is something that comes to mind when I think about something like this, and maybe a lot of people think about it, maybe they don't, but how does this impact the air quality? Because maybe people who aren't necessarily in danger of having, let's say, their home burn, their business burn, they're still likely, if they are in the area, to be impacted possibly by the air quality, right?
That is correct. We work very closely with our air quality partners here in Southern California, and in this area, South Coast Air Quality Management District manages the air quality. But as far as they've relayed a lot of their smoke advisories through our air quality alerts over the last several days, and so we've seen air quality index values in excess of 300 and 400 with these wildfires. So that's very unhealthy air quality that we're seeing across the Los Angeles basin.
And Todd, what message do you have for maybe people who are watching us right now from that specific area? Obviously, you are over in the Los Angeles area, but what message do you want to get across to people maybe who are in the evacuation zone and say, you know what, we get wildfires, it is what it is. What information do you want to get across to them?
The state of California puts out, and CAL FIRE put out the Ready, Set, Go program, and you spend a good portion of your spring getting ready for the fire season to develop, and so the Ready, Set, Go program is you should be in the set stage and be ready to evacuate should something happen, having your paperwork together, have a lot of your belongings ready to go if you live in wildfire prone areas. So it's really important that you heed the advice and warnings of people telling you to get out. This is very important to us. We're trying to save your life, and also that you delaying getting out also delays firefighter personnel getting to other people's homes in your home. So because they have to take time to help you and help you evacuate or convince you to evacuate. So I just want to make sure that people just listen to authorities and follow the directions, and please leave when you're asked to do so.
All right, Todd Hall there with the National Weather Service over in Los Angeles. Thank you so much. I know you're busy, so I definitely appreciate you taking the time to be here. Is there anything else that you want to add before I let you go?
No, not really. I mean, I just really want to reiterate to a lot of this is a kind of unprecedented because some of these areas haven't burned since the 1930s. from what we're seeing as far as so a lot of this vegetation has not burned for a long time in some of these fires. So we're seeing a lot of this is like the activity we're seeing this morning is really, there isn't much wind on it currently on these fires, but it's burning in vegetation that hasn't burned for a long time. So, and we have very steep terrain in Southern California. So we're one of the few places in the United States that goes from sea level to 10,000 feet, all within about a 30-mile stretch. So we have very complex terrain, and that's something that really adds a different component to fighting these fires. And it's a hard work for a lot of these firefighter personnel working on these fires.
All right. Todd, thank you again for taking the time to be here with us. We definitely appreciate it.
Thank you so much.